Hi, welcome. My name is Dale McCluskey, and I'd like to take a couple minutes to talk about training. What does obedience training really represent beyond certain ideologies or methodologies? And basically, what I show here within the system of training very clearly is that training is nothing more than an intervention at the mind and body level. And what that really means is that what I help dog owners get in tune with is the relational side of the dog and human relationship. And when I say relational, that means how you're being perceived by your dog through the pack relationship itself. So that when you start to have behavior issues, what do those really represent? How is this perception issue? How is that impacting the unwanted behavior of your dog? And so when people call me or need help, what I do is I sit down with them. I really clear the air, make sure, and this is important, I make sure you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because oftentimes what happens is that so many dog owners are going through the motions of obedience training and not really having any idea what the end game is. So that when they go home and they see that behavior really hasn't changed at the core level, the blame game starts to the trainer, or the blame is pushed onto the dog is the problem. And what I clearly show is it's not the fault of the dog. And even when I talk about the fault of the owner or human, oftentimes what's happening with so many dog owners is they're not getting the right information right out of the starting gate. They really aren't. That's why all these ideas about how dogs can learn there's a twist in all that. There's half truth in it. So and nature really does kind of turn you over to your own thinking if you're not seeing clearly through the lens of nature. So and that's what I help to do. I help take the blinders off so you can see this perception issue, and that you can gain the right perspective, and so you get the right answers. So I have hands-on methods I show dog owners, and so that's why through me, sessions are just booked as needed. I mean, on average it takes about 3 sessions, but and then you're practicing about 7 days in between. But I show very clearly what training really means and what it represents, so that you have a clear idea as to what the benchmarks are, and you'll see diminishment of behavior as you go along through training. So anyway, just something to think about when you're starting to look around and think about training. I show that there's a connection issue here. It's very profound and deep, and it's shared by dogs through this pack relationship, through nature. It's a very special connection. So so when you take your dog and you go through certain methods of training, just understand that oftentimes you have to put it against the test. You have to whatever the learning model is, you have to test out that model itself to see if it's impacting the decision making of the dog at that level, at the unwanted behavior level. Because what I clearly show is when unwanted behavior doesn't go away, then role change has not happened at the level needed. It just hasn't. So, and this system training is all about making sure that does happen. So, anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you have a great day.